Hi, crafty friends. Okay, so I told you I was kind of on a roll with cards. I have been up since 4:30. It is now 7. I have kind of dinked around a little bit. I would say I probably spent about 2 hours doing this. This is a step 1. I'm going to go through my process again because I didn't really follow through with every single step last video that I did. And I really want this to be a complete tutorial on how I do this mini cards. Am I straight? I don't think I'm straight. There. Okay. All right. So I went through my papers and I kind of got an idea of the colors of papers that I had. And then I went to sentiments and I pulled out sentiments that I thought would work with those colors. And then I went to images and I found images that I thought would work with those colors. And then I clipped, then I found papers, did I say that? That went with the images. So then I clipped them together like this. Here is another one. So I usually will pick 2 different papers, one as a background paper and one as a foreground paper. So like on this one, I have this paper and that paper. This one, this butterfly image is going to be my main focal. And then I have this paper and that paper. This one, I just have the rope paper. I don't have any other paper. So what I'm going to do is find a cardstock in this color to use as my complementary color. So this one has the birdhouse. I had this sentiment. It says, you make good times better and the hard times easier. And there's 2 little birds, so I thought that was good. And the birdhouse is blue. So I have this peach colored flower that matches that. And then I have this blue that matches the birdhouse. All right, this one. So I had this sentiment that said, friendship is a flower that blooms in all seasons. Perfect. Got flowers there. This is one of the backgrounds. Then there's this one. And there's that one. So that one has 3. This one has a sentiment on it. It says, home is where your story begins. I loved that. I think that'd be a great Mother's Day card. These are kind of geared towards Mother's Day, but obviously that one has like friendship. A place like home, that's kind of, so this one has this background and that background, and we don't need a sentiment because we got one right there. Okay, love this little image. And this one says, count your blessings. Kind of, I think, I love this. This is going to be a really pretty card. So we don't need an extra sentiment because we got one right there. I love that. Okay, so then we have these little bluebirds, and they kind of have peach flowers, so blue and peach kind of goes nice together. And then we have a sentiment that says, loved you yesterday, love you still, always have, always will. Another good Mother's Day sentiment. It goes perfect with this paper. And then so we've got this paper, and then we've got that paper. Okay, this one, another bird image with peach flowers. The sentiment says, how sweet is it to be loved by you? Another Mother's Day card. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to bring in the blue with my cardstock. All right, vintage lady with a floral hat. I am going to layer flowers across that hat and make it pop. So she's going to kind of go across the middle like that. So I got two of the same paper, and you'll see why two of the same paper only get going, because some of these are going to be easel cards. This one, I have this paper and that paper. Okay, this was totally from a different paper collection. Kindness comes in many forms, but always from the heart. So this isn't going to have an image, but this is going to have, I have all these little cutouts, these little floral cutouts that really match. So that's going together. Ooh, yeah, I like this one. This one says, best friends make good times better and hard times easier. So I found this in my stash, and that actually goes beautiful right there in the center. And then I found these in my stash, which match perfectly. This is a very fall looking card, but who cares? It may be fall before anybody wants to buy a card anyway. So we're going to put that together. And from the same paper collection, this is a Mente collection. I found that beautiful image and that sentiment. How beautiful a day can be. How beautiful a day can be when kindness touches it. And I thought, how beautiful this card is going to be. So I have that, and then I have that paper, the background. So how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, it's 7 a.m. in the morning. 14. Let's see if I can make these all in one day. The problem is, with that is going to be nothing. I think I can do it. All right, my next step is picking the card stock that's going to match each card and going ahead and prepping, like if I'm going to do like this, for instance, and this is not in this bunch. So I cut the cardstock. Obviously, I picked green cardstock to go around that, and then I am using craft paper, and I had to die cut the craft paper that I'm using, and then I had to prep the easel portion where I'm going to put my card. So I'm going to do all these components here, which is pick the border cardstock, pick the base cardstock, and I'm going to die cut and prep. And that's what I'm going to do for each one of these cards right now. And like I said, at 7 a.m., I'll be back. Before I go and cut and prep all of these, that took me about 10 minutes. And I want to go through and show you why I picked these colors. So when I put my border around this image, you can see how perfect that green is going to look with this card. This one, because it's got peach and such in it, when I border it to this green, it's going to look really nice. This one, I'm pulling from the cream in these flowers. So when I border that, it's going to look great. This vintage lady has some green in her dress and greenery in her hat. There's green, a little bit of green in the paper. So I'm going to border her with that green right there. This one's pretty obvious. The dusty blue goes with the birds. Same with this one. I was really lucky to find this paper to really match this one. So we're going to border the wood grain, but this is going to be the background paper, so it's all going to tie in together. This color matches nicely with that background. It's not perfect, but it's close. This one. This dark blue back here is close to that, so that's going to go well. Same with the blue here around the clock. That's going to look nice. This one with the little birdies with the peach paper, so that peach background's going to look nice. This one I opted the color that matched with the butterfly. This one was pretty much a no-brainer, like a craft color was going to be good. And then with this one, I went with the dark color in the center of these flowers. So we're going to border her with that. So there you go. That took about 10 minutes. The prep for the base of all these cards is going to take considerably longer, and I'll be back. Guys, it is 8 o'clock, and I went and got myself another cup of tea. So it took about 5 minutes. I found a video to watch while I was doing it. That took about 5 minutes. So here we are. These are my cutouts. You know what? That are going to be square. And this paper I didn't have enough of to cut a 6x6. So I had 2 scraps, and I'm going to glue those together, and once I put my cardstock over it, it's going to be just fine. So that's going to be a square. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 cards are going to just have a square card topper, and what I usually do with these is I'll put some lace and trim around the edges. Okay, so there's that. And then I have this batch, which are all getting this shape as their card topper. So I'm gonna have to cut the papers down to fit that card topper. So this one's getting that topper. This one's also getting a shaped topper, and this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I've got these, which are all getting this shape. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6. So, all right. So that's all the cards. And what I'm going to tell you is all the pieces that I cut off, I save all these pieces until, well, I save all of them anyway, but I save them off to the side, because what I'm going to do is if I need any die cuts, if I just decide to do die cuts on any of these particular cards, then I already have the cardstock handy that matches the paper that I need. And then if I don't use some of this, I have a file drawer over to my right, and I file these under the colors. This would be peach, and this would be craft, and this would be like in reds and blues and greens. I have a file folder, and I just keep them all in there so that when I do need scrap pieces for die cutting, I have those. Okay. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do this easel card, because after I do this process, then I'm going to have to do it on all of them as my prep. So when you have a 12-inch piece of paper that you have cut to go with your card, and usually they're 12 by 6. You can make it wider. This is wider. This is a little bit more than 6. But you can see when you put it on here, just a little bit sticks out. So that actually works really well. So 6 inches by 12 inches, okay? You're going to score at 6 inches. And use a scoring tool. This is my Martha Stewart scoreboard. This is the tool it came with. I don't like this tool. You can use it. I prefer this one that I actually broke a long time ago. It was long. I was really trying to score something really hard and I broke it. But I love it so much because it's got, I don't know if you can see, it's got a little ball at the end. So anyway, you score at 6 and not too hard. You don't want it too hard. 6 and 9. Okay? Simple as that. Then you're going to fold it on your score line. This gives you the bottom of the card. You fold this, and that gives you the easel part of the card. Okay? So I'm going to tell you right now, when you're using these shaped toppers, because normally if you're using a, let's say you're using a square, you're making just a square topper, you're going to put that square all the way to the bottom like this, and there's your easel card. Okay? But when you're using a shaped one, because you've got these scalloped edges, if you put it all the way at the edge where you're supposed to, obviously you're going to see those pieces back behind there. So usually I would use my cutting, my cutter, but I'm just going to take scissors and cut a bottom of that piece off. Now you don't want to cut too much because you still need that base, but now you can put this all the way to the bottom where it goes, and then you don't have that piece showing. So hopefully I explained that well enough and you can understand where I'm coming from, because this piece is gone and now you don't see it sticking out below that scallop. Okay, well, I've got my work cut out for me. It's 10 after 8 now, and I will be back. You know what? Before we do that, before we go, let me get my cutter. Hold on. We may as well just prep this entire card. So, and then I'll prep all the rest of them. So I'm going to measure from here to here, and that is just about 6 inches. And this is our background paper, so I'm going to do just a hair over 6 inches. And then this direction, we're looking at just under 5 inches. So that's how the base of our card is gonna look. I'm gonna have to cut this down some. Let's see. I really don't want to cut. I don't want to cut this. I love it. Okay. Okay. So we're going to do it like that. And I'm going to leave this card taller up here. I don't have a problem with that. I like it when Some stuff sticks up and above the card. I really think it just adds to it. So, but if you wanted to cut it to fit inside, you know, you could just cut it off right there. But this one has that cute little squirrel on it, and I don't want to, I mean, I guess I could. And then I could use him down below, but I'm going to wait and decide that later. Okay, so then we've got, that's what our topper's going to do. Now, take that off, make sure this is, yep, it's 6. So I'm going to cut this about 1/4 of an inch below 6. And this is what we're going to get at the bottom. So you're going to get your little border here. So you want to measure, this should be 6 across. And so you're going to measure this at 5 3/4, and then you get that border all the way around. So when your card is like this, and your easel piece is like this, that's how it's going to look. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go through all the cards. I'm going to score the bottoms. I'm going to cut the papers to fit, and I'm going to clip them back together so everything stays together, and it's easier for me to move on to my next step. All right, I'll be back. It is 7 minutes till 9. I have all my cards, all my layers here. So this is my topper, and then this is the base, and it's scored and folded, and then there's my design paper for the base of the card. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I thought we had 14. Oh, 13. And then there's one over here that I do have to cut a base for the bottom piece for. So basically 14 cards. We started at 7. So we're a little bit before 9. I went and got tea. I searched to find a few videos to watch while I did this. So let's say probably a little more than an hour and a half to get that much done for 14 cards. I'm going to take a break right now. I'm going to fix myself some breakfast and get my honey's coffee ready and stuff. And then we'll start I like to distress the edges. I don't know if I'm going to do all of them. We'll see. I will show you. Where's my distressing tool? Oh, here it is. Here it is right here. Tim Holtz distressing tool. So if you don't have one of these, I would get one of these. There's other distressing tools, but I have found this one to work the best. And it's only about, oh, I think when I bought it, it was like $7 or something. So it's got a little blade, and we'll do some distressing here in a little bit. See you in a bit. We're going to get on with the video, but I just thought I'd show you a little bit of real life, what's going on outside. That's my paint studio over there. And the pond. Then over here is our storage building for our furniture, which we redo and repurpose and sell in antique malls. And this is what I've been watching. Dynasty E True Hollywood Story. I actually watched Dallas E True Hollywood Story while I worked on these. Now, all of these, oh my gosh, my hand actually really hurts. For those of you who've known me for a while, I did have a surgery where a bone was removed out of the base of my thumb, and it makes it hard to do some things. So anyway, every single one of these has the distress paper on it, It has the bottom piece, it's all glued together, and only my top pieces are left loose. And the reason for that is now I'm going to go and put my laces and trims, the things that'll go underneath the images. So again, the things that are left loose. This one, probably won't put any lace or trim on this one. I'm probably just going to add some flowers where there already are flowers. And yeah, so they're all prepped. It is now 10:38. So I'd say altogether it took me, including making my breakfast, eating my breakfast, and doing all these cards, an hour and a half. So I think we're going to make it getting all these done today. So I'll be back with the next part. So it's 2 o'clock now. I don't want you to think it took me that long. It took me, I would say, probably close to 2 hours to get the next process done. And that is to add my laces and trims and assemble the different layers, add the backing. I don't use double-sided sticky tape. I use this fun foam and hot glue, and that's how I do my layers. So it took me about 2 hours. So let's go over where we're at. So this card, I decided no laces or trims, but I did do a lot of popping up. So I had, I have a layer here, a layer here, and then several layers under the sentiment. So this one has, is popped up here, and this image of the butterfly is popped up as well. And then I added the lace across the center. So a lot of layers going on here, one layer here, a layer here, and a layer here. And then I added this lace around the edge. This one's got some lace here and here, like a cotton crocheted. This one's got some blue lace. This one's got some lace. Quite a few layers going on there. One layer of lace, and this whole image is popped up. Uh-oh, I didn't glue this on. I'm going to do that right now. But you can see the layers of, this image is popped up, and I've got this pretty trim there and the sentiment. Come on, glue. All right, I'll do that after. This one I did not add any laces. I just popped up the sentiment. I am going to add some dimensional flowers. That's my next step, is adding the flowers. This one came out real pretty with that gorgeous lady. So this one's got some trim underneath here. And then I did a lot of layering of these paper chipboard flowers that I had, that I just did popping up on those. I added this clock, and then I added the trim. Then this one I added, this is one of those, these are the square ones. So remember I told you on the square ones I would put the lace on the outside edge. So we got that here, we got that on this one. Here I put these two rosettes because I'm going to do my flower cluster on top of here so that the edge of the rosettes will show. And then this one came out really nice. Just like a dusty blue matches the birdhouse. So as I said, my next step is flowers. And also one other thing, I have to put something right here as a stopper for my easel, because when your easel card is like this, it needs something or else it'll just keep sliding down. So a lot of times I use pearls or I use some type of trim, but I'm going to probably go ahead and put all the trim on all the cards so it, stops it from sliding down. And then I'm going to do all of my floral arranging. So yeah, you're seeing it in real time as far as each different process, and I'll be back with the next step. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. It's the next day, but there's a reason. I could have got these all done in one day. So I decided I wanted to watch the president's briefing today because he was going to talk about reopening the economy. And I had gotten up at 4:17 in the morning. I told you guys yesterday. And so during the briefing, I fell asleep. When I woke up, there was a totally different show on. And my feet were like ice cubes, and I still had to cook dinner and take a shower, and I was groggy, and yeah. But I do know how long it took me to put all the flowers on these cards, so let's go over it. So this one here didn't need any flowers because I already put all the dimensional flowers on it. This is what I did with this one. Simple with this one. Pretty simple here. So yeah, this obviously had some peach colored flowers. It has flowers along the sides, so I needed more flowers to tie everything in. So this took a little bit longer. This is the one that I had the rosettes on. I hope you can see. I hope I'm like in camera. And I layered the flowers on top. Then I have, now this one there was flowers on the paper wherever I put flowers. So that's why I kind of looks a little bit random, but there were flowers on the paper. You can kind of see one right there. This one, you can obviously tell there were flowers all over on the paper. This one as well, you can see the mason jars here, and there were flowers coming out of the mason jars, and then there were flowers that had like dropped off and were sitting on the table. This one. All right, so this one didn't have any flowers on it at all, but it had these twigs coming out of this glass jar. So I opted to put flowers on the twigs, and then like flowers had dropped off on. It's hard for me to see the camera because it's, up there, and there's like a glare from all the lighting. So I hope you can see. All right. Love this one. So obviously the two big flowers here, and then the flowers on her hat. Some of these I went ahead and put some leaves on because they had leaves with the flowers, but most of them I don't put any leaves on until after. So here's the one that had that beautiful door, and that's how I put the flowers on that one. There were already flowers, right here. I just decided to put dimensional flowers. So my next step that I'm going to do is put other embellishments. Like if I'm going to put any wood pieces, any metal pieces, any bows, anything like that, I'm going to go ahead and do that in my next step. And I'm going to do them, I'm going to sneeze. I'm going to do them for all the cards, just like I've been doing all along. And after I do that, then the last thing that I will do is add all my little berries and leaves and die cuts and things. So I'm going to go put all my extra embellishments on, and then I'll be back. Guys, admittedly, I'm not just working just on cards. I'm doing lots of stuff, but I will tell you, maybe it took me an hour to find and put on all the embellishments. So since the last time we looked at this card, all I did was put this bird nest on it. Oh, no, I take it back. I put the metal corners and I put the bird nest. I put these two metal pieces and the bird nest. I put these two metal pieces. These two metal pieces and the bird nest. Got my theme going on here. Oh, I forgot. And a bow. I put a bow on this. I put a butterfly bird nest, and I found this little wooden heart in my stash. I put 4 metal corners on this one. I put 2 butterflies on there. Oh, and these metal corners at the bottom. I put a bow here and a bird nest. On this one, I put a bow. This one, I added these metal corner, or they're not corners, these 2 metal pieces, and then I put a metal piece here and here. On this one, I put a bow. I put this, I thought that looked really cool on the birdhouse, the keyhole. I put metal here and here, and here and here, and the butterfly. I added these 2 heart cutouts and a bow. And then on my vintage lady, I added the metal corner pieces and the bow on her hat. So all of that is now done. And I think I mentioned before I was going to put my stopper. I did put a stopper on all the cards. So I missed telling you about that step. So on this one I put, let me hold it properly. So that's how it, you know, keeps it standing up. So I got all that done too, although I forgot to mention it. So now my final step is I'm going to go put the leaves and the berries and the things like that that I'm going to do in my flower clusters. And I probably won't do any die cuts on these cards because they're pretty heavily embellished at this point. But I'm not going to show the cards again after I put my little berries and things in. I'm going to do a separate video where I'm going to show each one of the cards. I'll probably do a set of 2 sets of 5 and a set of 4. I'll do separate videos, but this particular video was to show you the process of how to produce a mass amount of cards. And seriously, 1000%, I will tell you, I could have done all of these in one day, no problem, if I didn't get distracted and take a nap. Which is the first time since quarantine in 3 weeks that I have taken a nap. So kind of weird. But anyway, so I hope you enjoyed the process of it. I hope you picked up some tips. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I do and will answer any questions. I'm glad to help. So stay tuned for videos coming out of the finished cards, and thanks for watching. Hey, be sure to hit that subscribe button, the bell notification, and give me a thumbs up. It really helps my channel grow. Thanks for watching. Bye.